Y'all want to come in?
I will say, it allows you to use a very stupid voice maker instead of the also theory intact. Craig is asexual, but the puppet is not.
That's the best thing that you've told me so far.
I haven't had puppet bro. I haven't had the puppet cat call anybody yet.
As you'll notice, I arranged the cedar ream so people could not sit all the way in the back.
But now front is just like, you're staring.
You mean you get this? You haven't been here in a while.
I haven't. It's been a problem. This is the first Friday where I've had energy at the end of the week.
That's good.
Thank you. I got it at TX. I'm dedicated. I love it. It was like 55 minutes. I was like, where's Jordan? I'm reading a single cut of Jordan. I'm reading a single cut now.
I'm gonna do it the normal. I tried one week when you weren't here. Oh, so here's the thing. Not only did I try one week without, but my guitar went out way out of tune, so it was just me singing a cappella. And I've always thought it's kind of. But then I take the guitar away, and it's significantly less good than I thought. Is that? So.
Yes.
Is it on the phone?
Yeah, we just saw the space. Anyways, it's gonna be so fun having.
She doesn't know it's me.
Because the one fight, do you know ASD movies?
I'm aware of it.
So, like I did.
Mine are, in fairness, mine are also dense.
I was gonna wear jeans, but yeah.
I get it. All right, let's start, ladies and gentlemen. If Lindsay calls me, she's gonna have to wait. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Nemato umanai sheberachim gam yachad. Nemato Umanai Shepherd God. Welcome, everyone. Hi. If you will please turn to page 2, we'll sing Shalom Aleichem. I'm also going to turn to page 2. Maybe. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teidem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei HaShalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm glad I wasn't the only one who heard that. I'm not totally sure what that was. If you'll turn to page 3 for the L'Chuna. Adding it, L'Chuna. L'Chuna, 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 L'Adonai. L'Chuna, 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 L'Adonai. Naria, Litzor Yishenu, Nikadma Fanav Betodah. Naria, Litzor Yishenu, Bizmirots Naria Lo. L'Chuna, L'Chuna, L'Adonai. L'Chuna, L'Adonai. Read sort of silently until we get to the line that says Arba'im. Arba'im shana kut bedor, v'amaram toeh levavhem, v'hem lo yadu derachai, asher nishbati b'afpi, ivivon al menuchati. So the page 4 for Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid. Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai b'hadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hagavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, V'shaber Adonai et arzei havanon, V'yarkidem kimo egel, Lebanon v'siryon, kimo ben rebim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayachesof yarot, uvheichalo, kulo omer kavod, Adonai lamabul yashaf, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Turn please to page 5 for the Chazor D. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Shamor v'zachor v'tikor echad yishmiyahu. El ha'michad Adonai echad u'shmo echad Hashem v'tiferet v'litilah. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Dash Melech, Imeleka, Itzei, Ito, Ha'afecha, Ba'afrak Shevet, Emek Abel, Yakovo, Ichela. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Doremi, Kiva, Ore, Duri, Chita, baby, Pura, Nikla. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Hayu Shimsa, Shosai, Raku, Gomirelai, Salai, Elohai, So Katan, Mahal Kalam. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Everyone please rise and face the back. Ohi v'shalom, Atefala, Gamlasika, U'Tzahala, Toyemune, Aham Segula, U'Ikala, U'Ikala. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. Echadodi, Ikrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabelam. So please remain standing for Baruch Hu, which will be on page 6. La 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 la, la 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 la, 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 la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? La 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 la, 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 la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Bye, 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 bye. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. Turn to page 7 for Avat Olam, which is one of the prayers before we get to the Shema, which is sort of setting us up. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadita Kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shachveinu uvkumeinu, Nasiach bechukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'b'mitzvotecha, Le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayeinu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla ve'avatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Everyone, please rise for Shema, which is on page 8. We'll do the first line together, the second line silently, and then we'll chant the Haftarah as a community. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Silently. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavcha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol me'otecha, v'hayu advarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom alevavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uvshachbecha uvkumecha, uvshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uchtabtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Please be seated and turn to page 11 of the Shomer. Got it? You know it already. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael eta Shabbat lahasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam burito laham. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael eta Shabbat lahasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam burito laham. Beini uvein, b'nei Yisrael, ohuti le'olam, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, lahasot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam burito olam. Ki sheshet yamim, asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha'shabbat lahasot et ha'shabbat ledorotam burito olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam burito olam. Please turn to page 10 for Michamocha. Not the Jordan way.
I know it's not that
When we have someone who's a better singer than me, we'll do it better.
Oh, I thought you were saying you're better.
Oh, then Jordan.
You're gonna be like, oh.
Mi chamocha be'elim Adonai, mi chamocha netar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, malchutecha ra'u uvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, ze'elianu v'yamru. All right, I want to talk for a little bit before we get to Hatzikadosh, before we get to Amida, and sort of near the end of the service. You good?
Yeah.
I see you pacing back and forth like one of the ducks in Duck Hunt. All right, in September 2001,
Aaron Sorkin was about to start writing the third season of The West Wing. Has everyone heard of The West Wing? Yes? No? It was a TV show. And he was writing it when it said in the White House when 9/11 occurred. So 9/11, he had already written a bunch, and 9/11 had happened. And so he wrote a specific episode dealing with 9/11, which ended up not happening. The actual September 11 attacks didn't occur in the show. This episode was called Isaac and Ishmael. And a lot of people don't like it. It was written clearly, quickly. I think it's good. But the first lady, fictional first lady, is speaking with a group of students who are trapped in the White House because there's a bomb threat or something. I don't remember the whole plot. And she retells parts of the story of Isaac and Ishmael. I wanted to write down specifically what it is that she says. And so it began. The Jews, the sons of Isaac, the Arabs, the sons of Ishmael. But what most people find important to remember is that in the end, the two sons came together to bury their father, who is Abraham. And so it goes. These two lines of descendants continue to exist in parallel, developing alongside, but never with each other. This week's parsha is critical to the narrative of the Tanakh. We mark the deaths of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac's marriage to Ishmael, as well as the fact that Abraham purchased the Cave of the Patriarchs, which is the name we call it today. As the final mention of Ishmael, who was, of course, Abraham's son by Hagar, does mention his descendants, which is an interesting choice. Any one of these sort of plot points, these aspects, would be interesting to discuss. I want to focus on first, of course, the relationship between Isaac and Ishmael and Abraham's relationship with the land we call today Israel. Especially as sort of the 20th century moved on and moved into the 21st century, the story of Abraham and Hagar and Sarah and Ishmael received a lot of commentary and attention, not only because Sarah's mean to Hagar, not just mean, abusive to Hagar. Hagar is her slave. Let's not overstate this. Also, there's some thorny issues of consent going on in Abraham and Hagar. But also, it's clear that Ishmael maintains some connection to the Sarah, Abraham, Isaac family. He does, after all, as First Lady Abby Bartlett says, join with Isaac to bury Abraham. I want to sort of highlight how curious this is. They're not Abraham's only kids. After Sarah dies, which she does in the first line of this week's parsha, Abraham marries a woman named Keturah, which is literally the only thing we know about her. And they have 6 children. Their names are listed, but it's not worth me listing them to you. These children, it seems, did not care enough to come bury Abraham, or the relationship was not as close, or for some reason, the authors of the Tanakh decided not to include them in that part of the story. So what? Again, we're moving on and we're having Isaac, and then, of course, Jacob and Esau will move into Egypt. Ishmael is at best a sort of minor figure in the Tanakh. The narrative continues to Abraham's one of his other children, Isaac. We know very little of Ishmael's later life other than he marries and has kids, and his descendants existed. Jewish and Muslim lore say that Ishmael was the forerunner, the progenitor of Muslims, of Islam, but that's not in the Tanakh, obviously. All we know is that he and Isaac joined together to bury Abraham in land that Abraham, this is crucial, purchased from the Hittites, which of course is foreshadowing the way Israel comes to exist in many ways. Abraham insisted that Sarah was also to be buried in this new land. This is echoed later when Abraham sends a servant back to Abraham's homeland that says, find Isaac a wife. I don't know why Isaac cannot find himself a wife, but, honestly, we don't know all that much about Isaac other than he was almost sacrificed, and he marries Rebekah and has kids, and is deceived by one of his kids. Not a great story. And the servant says, well, what if the woman refuses to come with me back to, back here? And Abraham says, on no account must you take my son back there. Isaac is not to go back. They are to settle in the land of Israel. He and Sarah, as well as other who came after them, are buried in the Cave of the Patriarchs, which is has anyone been there? It's in East Jerusalem. You can visit it. This also represents Abraham's formal connection to the land of Israel. Last week, we read how Abraham marked his home at Beersheba, not by erecting an altar to Adonai and saying, thank you for bringing me here, but by planting a tree. Rabbis have said that's, for millennia, that's kind of a weird thing. Why? The general consensus, or a general consensus today, is that this shows how Jews should relate to the land of Israel by building it up and creating a lasting legacy. We should follow Abraham's example by sharing our bounty. That doesn't mean the land of Israel necessarily, but sharing our bounty, what we have with fellow Jews and everyone else. As Rabbi Justin David writes, the goal of settling the land was to share its bounty and to testify to the goodness of God's presence in the world. This week, I'm going to be focusing in my own life on this lesson, from my actions, my words, and my interactions to demonstrate Adonai's presence. May this Shabbat be one of rest, rejuvenation, and recovery. Shabbat Shalom. I got a text from Hunter right now. Should I look at it? No? No?
No, as you would.
I'm sure it's he's in Tallahassee, so I'm sure it's something Gators related. All right, turn to page 12, please, for Hatzikadosh, and then we'll talk about the Amida.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba v'yamati vrachirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayeticho beit Yisrael Bagala, bagala, uv'ismahan kahariv v'yemaru. Amen. Yeheshmei rabba mivorach ve'olam olal me'almaya Yitbarach, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, Yitbar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitala, Shemei Kedusha, v'yechu, le'ela, min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dahamihiran v'yalma, v'yemaru. Amen.
If everyone will please rise and turn to page 13. We will begin the Amida together, after which time you will have space for personal prayers.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevik Ula Livnei V'Nehem, L'man Shemaho B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Turn the page. Atah Gibor L'Olam Adonai, Mechayim Etim Atarav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid Hageh Hashem, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Sohomech Noflim B'Rofech Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayehem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Kivurot, Umido Melach, Melech Be'mihit, Umechayeh, Umatzliach Yeshua, V'ne'amat al hachayot Heitim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaMeitim.
If you guys will read silently to yourself, adding at the end personal prayers. When you are done and there is no rush, you may be seated.
Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Once more. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
I'd like to offer now a prayer for the state of Israel. This is not in your Siddur, so I'm just going to read it. Avinu Shabbat Shamayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people of Israel. Bless the state of Israel. Shield it with your love. Spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them. Crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say, please now turn to page 19 from Misha Berach, and we will rise as one community. You can stand up, yeah.
Mishebeirach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Lehimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Mishebeirach Imoteinu Mikor HaBracha Le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shema, renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Please remain standing and turn to page 20 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'ateit gedula le'otzeh breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamon.
All right, we're going to bend our knees on the next word and bow on the word after that.
V'anachnu korim u'mishachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim v'yoser haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shchinatu zo b'gavei meheromi Hu Eloheinu, Eino, Ememakenu, Efezulato, Kakatuv, Betorato, Biadata Hayom, Behashevota, Elivavecha, Ki Adonai, Hu HaElohim, Bashamayim Mimal, V'al haaretz, Mitachat Einod, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, V'melech al kol haaretz, V'yom hahu, Yiyeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad.
Please remain standing for Mourner's Kaddish on page 21. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Alma divrach chirute v'yamlich machute v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayed zecho Beit Yisrael v'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalash shmei l'kudashah b'richu v'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiram ya'amav v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Please be seated. Before we end with Adon Olam, let me think about what's coming up this week. There's a football game tomorrow.
Yeah.
No tailgate, but there's a football game. Sunday, NFL watch party. Monday is something. Mezuzah painting, maybe?
That's Tuesday.
Tuesday is mezuzah painting. Monday is something else. I forget. This is when I need someone else in here who knows the schedule. Who is going to DC? Anybody? I'll be there. So that means there is no lunch and learn this week. Anybody who's going to come, I have to put out a flyer. I'll do that on Sunday.
Tabling for Pickle Day.
Right. Oh, Pickle Day is Tuesday.
Yeah, it's like National Pickle Day.
Monday is Mrs. Painting. Yeah.
Monday's
Yeah. I thought so. I think it's different this week. Yeah. Tuesday is National Pickle Day tabling.
The Instagram was wrong. So
That feels unshocking.
it said the 7th.
7th is Tuesday
Yes.
of this week.
Yeah, that's what it said. This is a painting.
Tzedakah
Or
box was the 7th,
yes.
but we took out the mezuzah. You saw, yeah. And then Shabbat next week, and then nothing the week of Thanksgiving. We are all closed. I don't know if you guys are staying here or going home, but the office will be closed all week, and that's all I have to tell you. If you will turn to page 22, I'm with Adon Olam. If you want to do I don't know. I was going to just do a normal one to get to dinner, but whatever.
Sure, yeah, let's just do that.
Adon Olam, Hashem Alach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chetz Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Hiyah, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yiyeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chetz Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Echad, V'ein Sheni, Laham Shelo Lahachbira Adon Olam, B'li Reshit, B'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'hamizra Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chetz Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tuchev li B'eit Zara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi, Umanosli, Menakosi B'yom Mekra Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chetz Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, B'yahado Avki Ruchi, B'eit Ishan V'a'ira Adon Olam, B'im Ruchi Deviyati Adonai Li V'lo Ira Adon Olam. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Dinner is next door. Is that the song? Am I with the song?
Yeah, it's the woods. I wanted that one. Wait. And we'll do it later. I get so intense.
Adon Olam Asher Malach. Oh yeah, I was yeah.
It's very funny that
I've only